Alright, so oh! I'm actually in the middle of filming a video right now.
I don't like being filmed.
Is it once again for Book of the Month, the monthly book subscription book box?
I have your box.
You know what, no, this is really good because I put myself on a book buying ban, but with Book of the Month, like, I feel it doesn't feel like it counts because your people are choosing the books, combing through the new releases. It's not me going out of my way. It's not me browsing for the books, you know, like, you just present them to me and then I pick like one or like maybe two, like an add-on to add to my order, and then they just show up and it's like I haven't broken my vows.
Whatever you need to tell yourself.
Stop. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. It's a map.
Yeah, it's a very nice map.
Wayward. Look at this. We switched back from 2019, 1619, and 1942. Yes, they're witches. This is some of your best work, honestly. Well, now I can just post it straight in the video. If you want to use my code Emmy, you can get your first box for $9.99. Thank you for showing up at such an opportune moment.
Well, I should hit the road.
You know, you and I have known each other for like a year now.
It's definitely felt that long.
Can I have a hug?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, thank you.
See you next month.
Hi. Hey, hi. Hi ho. I thought, can we come a bit closer maybe? You can come closer, it's okay. Okay, hello. Welcome to the Cozy Corner. Well, it's not my YouTube channel name. My channel name's Emmy. Anyway. Welcome back. I thought today we could just have a really chill sit-down video. I just put my coffee in the microwave. It doesn't taste that great. Why doesn't reheated coffee taste good? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll still drink it because I'm not just gonna make a whole other pot, but I probably should just concede and make iced coffee instead of, I don't like, why does the microwavification of it, make it taste not good? Anyway, so we're here with some mediocre coffee and some absolutely banging books. So today I'm going to be telling you like some, not all, but a lot of my favorite classics. These are pretty much just all the ones I pulled from my shelves. I went up to my shelves today and I was like, what is on here that I freaking love? I've been noticing a lot of you have been asking for classic recommendations. You want to get into reading more classics and you don't know where to start, or you just want ones that are going to pull you in and like just make you excited, make you happy to be reading classic lit. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I have two big stacks. We're just going to go through them. I'll tell you a little bit about the essence of the book. So let's just get started because I've got a big old pile. Which one do I want to tell you? Let's just start with the short one. My boyfriend actually just finished this. He gave it 3.5 stars. I gave it 4 stars. It's fine. But this is a really short one that you can read in like a couple sittings. And guys, it is only 83 pages. And that's Chess. This is the author, if you don't know, that the Grand Budapest Hotel was based around his life and his works. So Chess is the story of this guy in World War II who gets captured by the Nazis. He's kind of a higher up official, and so he's not sent to the camps. He instead is relegated to have like torture, a different kind of torture, and so you follow him, but it's also a frame narrative. So the novel starts on this steamship where there is like the greatest chess champion in the world, and we see that our man, who's eventually gonna get on the scene, tell us a story about his time during the war. He starts playing the world champion chess player on the steamship. So it's really good. It's short. It's great. Bonus if you like chess. I did include a bunch of like modern classics as well. So this is the nice Penguin Modern Classic Edition, but that is Chess. Next, another short one if you just want to get into it. This one's a bit heavier, a bit more difficult, I would definitely say, and that is Pedro Páramo by Juan Rulfo. So fantastic. Another 5-star. This inspired Gabriel Garcia Marquez to write 100 Years of Solitude. Fan-freaking-tastic. So much about this is so cool. It gives me a lot of Spirited Away vibes in a way. So we follow this guy who leaves his dying mother and he sets off on this journey to find his father to kind of get revenge on him. But when he arrives in his father's town, things are different. It's kind of a ghost town. It's a ghost town story. He takes his horse to the Old Town Road and He rides until he can't no more. Nights around here are filled with ghosts. You should see all the spirits walking through the streets. As soon as it's dark, they begin to come out. No one likes to see them. There's so many of them and so few of us that we don't even make the effort to pray for them anymore to help them out of their purgatory. It is about the history of the town where he ends up. It's fantastic. The writing is so eerie. I think it's perfectly done. There's like a chorus of voices that you have to pick apart, and it's so rewarding. I don't know. Freaking love this one. Pick it up. Okay, another one of my absolute favorite classics of all time is The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I was obsessed with this book while I was reading it. Henry James to me always, I've only read 2 of his works, but he just does things with language that I'm always like, wait, let me kind of read that again, because the way that he talks, the way that he writes, rather, is so interesting, especially in Turn of the Screw, because this is the very famous story of the governess who goes to babysit 2 small kids in this manor, and she starts seeing ghosts, the kids start seeing ghosts. Does she see ghosts? Are there ghosts? The quintessential question. So freaking fun to try and map out, to try and figure out. I think this is like one of the most genius books I've probably ever read. Highly recommend you add this to your little TBR. It's probably not little, to your big TBR. It's so good. The levels in here, this book is on a different level. It has so many different levels you can go down, so many different things to analyze. I think it's one of the coolest pieces of classic lit, one of my favorite pieces of gothic fiction, and I would highly recommend you read The Turn of the Screw. Oh my god, especially in October. Maybe save it for Halloween or something, because I think I read this in October, November. Perfect time. Classic, a more modern classic, I guess, that I found last year that I loved was Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. This made it onto my best books of last year. Loved it. This one is very accessible. This one is a pretty straightforward narrative, deceptively so, but in terms of readability, I would say, of Okonkwo. He is the greatest warrior in his village. He's living his life. You really get a sense of the rhythms, the patterns, just the way that his life is unfolding with his wives, his kids, his neighbors, his farming. He's growing yams, which are like the king crop. King of the crop, cream of the crop, if you will. Everything's just, unfolding along its way, but then things start to fall apart when he accidentally kills a clansman, which is not allowed because you will be sent into exile, so he has to leave his village, and eventually when he comes back after a period away, he finds out that things are very different because very slowly in his village, colonists, missionaries, people working for the church have started to creep in and corrupt and change their way of life. It's devastating. I think it's so well done. I actually got to read a few different essays through my university at the same time that I was reading Things Fall Apart, which were talking about Things Fall Apart. That was really cool, so yeah, would highly recommend. Next up, no one's surprised, it's Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. If you should just read Frankenstein. I don't think I have any other argument to convince you other than that I have read this book so many times now, and it's better every single time. How is that possible? How is that possible? I don't know, because the first time I read Frankenstein, I was kind of nonplussed, but it's haunted me. It's been following me everywhere, like Victor's Monster does. Last year I got to write quite a big paper on it, which was amazing, and I'm trying to bring aspects of Frankenstein or works related to Frankenstein into my thesis this year. Really, when you think about it, this book is so, I don't know, it's just so affecting and so haunting to me, because this guy makes a monster out of body parts. First of all, why the hell is he doing this? And just getting behind everything in Frankenstein is so, it's just gut-wrenching to me. This is one of the most gut-wrenching books I've ever read, because it just feels so, I don't know, it feels so real. It feels so real to me. I love the absolute drama in the writing. How dare you sport thus with life? Remember that I am thy creature, I ought to be thy Adam, but I am rather the fallen angel, whom thou drivest from joy for no misdeed. Everywhere I see bliss, from which I alone am irrevocably excluded. I was benevolent and good, misery made me a fiend. Misery made me a fiend. Hell yeah. I'm in a really weird mood today, in case you haven't noticed. Love it. I have a type of characters that I like to read about in books. this book probably has them all. So that is Frankenstein, another 5-star. It's gonna be an absolute hit or miss for people. And that is Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. This is the most recent book I've read on this list, and I think, like, I literally think I have to bump it up to 5 stars because I just keep thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. I read this in January. What a way to start the year. I'm still not okay. I think this is fantastic. This is a book I absolutely need to reread. I went into this blind, knowing nothing. I kind of want maybe you to do the same, but it is a story about World War I, very much inspired by Hemingway's own experience when he was an ambulance driver. And he had a relationship with an English nurse, which is what our character Henry does. He falls in love with this British nurse named Catherine. It's a war story, but it's also a love story. And it's also so much more than that, and holy guacamole. If you can kind of just start, you know, jiving a little bit with Hemingway's writing style, or just accept it, kind of let it wash over you a little bit, I think you can just really get into it. Like, I was so affected, and it's not even because that I was so drawn into the plot or the characters at all, but just because of the things that he was talking about, the things that everyone goes through, just the reality of life, the absolute hard-hitting reality. That was what was most affecting, and I just really, really appreciate it. There's some really beautiful lines, some really important discussion about war, countries, military, life, like everything, just everything. Definitely Farewell to Arms has to be, I think, on my favorite classics. Yeah, has to be one of them. I guess we'll just get the favorite classic out of the way, probably, and that is 100 Years of Solitude. That's it. I struggle so much every single time I even like hold this book to speak about it. It refuses to be spoken about. It shies away from being spoken about. I can't speak about it. I can't speak about how much I love certain things when I get to a point of loving them as much as I do, and 100 Years of Solitude is one of those things in my life. From like the moment I picked it up, I was like, this is gonna absolutely change my life. It's one of the seminal pieces, if you will, of magical realism. It is the best book I've ever read. Okay, like, yeah. I say this every time, I think, but this is the best book I've probably ever read in my life. I'm actually studying it now at uni, which is so exciting because I've never had that opportunity before, along with a number of pieces of Latin American work and history. Just so happy about that. It blew open my love of magical realism, and I adore this book. Like 500,000,000 stars. It's not without its challenges, for sure. It's not without its frustrations, but that is 100 Years of Solitude. Something completely different. We have The Ice Palace by Dario Besos. This is another modern classic. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous cover. This is a very, very quiet little book about grief and nature and ice and snow. So obviously I'm all over that. This is about 2 girls in Norway, and there is this frozen waterfall near their town. They're pretty young, and they're both kind of outsiders. They're both mirrors of one another a little bit, but one day one of the girls goes missing inside the different rooms, chambers, caverns of this ice waterfall. It's this like brilliant, ever-changing, evolving, really, really cool structure that stands in for so many different things. Ice and snow, and ice and snow adjacent weather being used as metaphor, especially for our own interiority, is one of my favorite things. Like the phenomenon of something preserved in ice, so cool to me. So incredibly cool. I will like never get over the power or the presence of ice and snow. Probably my favorite weather of all time, but it's just such a cool study of grief, of memory, of the subconscious, especially of like, yeah, small children, little girls. I think it's so good. So that is The Ice Palace. I would definitely recommend you pick that up, and it's another short one as well, and perfect for like cold, dark nights. And then we have The Posthumous Memoirs of Bras Cubas. Love this. This is like fun. This is freaking fun. This puts a smile on my face every time I think about it, but it's also, there's just like so much more depth to it than just being like, oh, it puts a smile on my face. This is about someone Bras Cubas, who is writing his memoirs, writing a book after he's dead. So he's like, I'm dead. Hello. It's nice to meet you. I'm sorry we couldn't meet while I was alive, but I'm gonna dedicate this to the worms, the little cutie worms gnawing at my corpse. This one goes out to you. And then he tells us all about his life while he was alive from the standpoint of him now being dead. What he thinks about his life now that it's over, and it's fantastic. It's so good. I would highly recommend. I cannot wait to read more from this author because I've just read this novel and then a collection of his short stories. But wow, so impressed. And yeah, this also made it onto my best books of last year. So definitely read this one. Definitely read this one. It's phenomenal. One that absolutely has to be on here. I don't think who doesn't like this book? Does anyone actually not like this book? It's The Picture of Dorian Gray. The Picture of Dorian Gray. I want to reread this so badly. So badly. I just want to live in this book. So incredibly in the mood to reread The Picture of Dorian Gray. I like cried reading it the first time because of how beautiful the writing was. Like, it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I need to reread it. I would kind of maybe like to get a different edition because, to be honest, I don't love the Arcturus editions. Like, I really don't. I don't know. I like the way it smells, but I just for some reason don't like the Arcturus. At 18, the handsome Dorian Gray has his portrait painted, which prompts an admirer, Lord Henry, an idol, to declare that life is nothing without beauty and sensuous gratification. Oh my god, like the way that this book is written, Oscar Wilde, like I don't know what angel tripped and fell down your throat and possessed you, but I would like to meet said angel. We have the Phantom of the Opera! Is anyone surprised? Yeah, this is the first classic I read, and guess what? It's still here. It's still holding up. Can you believe that I didn't reread it for the 13th millionth time last year? No. I think this book is hilarious, actually. I think it's so funny. It's so entertaining. It's so cool to me. It deals with so many topics that I adore, that I love studying. Music, architecture, gothic, detective novel, crime, ghost story, romance, literally everything. Like, there's nothing this book can't do, is my thesis. Should I write a thesis? I don't know, because like I'm still struggling. I'm not struggling because I haven't even started. I'm still thinking about what to do my second thesis paper on this year, and anything is up for grabs. And I'm feeling particularly grabby about Phantom of the Opera. One of my favorite books, 5 stars, once again. Let's just get this mammoth out of the way. That's War and Peace. This book, again, was pretty life-changing. I remember so much of this so vividly. It was also, I think, it just felt like such a big achievement in my life. So this one is a huge journey. Definitely not like light reading, definitely not fun reading. It does get very dry at parts, but like just overall, like this, again, incredible. I mean, it's one of the greats for a reason, so that is that one. And then the last two I just pulled off my shelf. I'm missing so many. But we have Season of Migration to the North by Shelley. 5 stars. Once again, 5 stars. This was my boyfriend's favorite book that I recommended to him so far in the history of ever, so I guess, you know, take his review into account as well, but this is so good. So good. There's also so much going on in here. Once again, a classic involving a lot of education, abuse, racism. It's about our narrator, who's unnamed. He's just got back to Sudan from a time in England where he was getting his education, and he finds that in his absence, much like in Things Fall Apart, things have started to change. Devastating in same ways via different consequences, different effects, different things going on, because he's found out that this guy named Mustafa basically did what our protagonist did. He went to England, got his education, but while he was there, things were not what he was expecting, and rightfully so, because everyone treated him differently. None of them in a good way, none of them in a positive light, and so he vows to take revenge on the West. And our unnamed narrator is kind of listening to his story of how Mustafa takes revenge on the West, and specifically the United Kingdom. So, like, absolutely breathtaking. And then the last one I have here is more, I'd say this maybe hits the lowest of this list, actually, so we're gonna end off with the lower point of this list, but that is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Also a completely different novel, but still very psychological, still very gothic, very interesting. I absolutely love the idea of a house that is built on all wrong angles, so that like you are just thrown off, absolutely thrown off, no matter where you look, no matter where you step. Nothing makes sense in this house. I love the idea of spaces as having the ability to drive you absolutely insane. I think it's, yeah, just I love exploring architecture and buildings and literature. That's one of my favorite things ever. And this one, just hill house, not sane, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness within. It had stood so for 80 years and might stand for 80 more. No human eye can isolate the unhappy coincidence of line and place, which suggests evil in the face of a house, and yet somehow a maniac juxtaposition, a badly turned angle, some chance meeting of roof and sky turned Hill House into a place of despair, more frightening because the face of Hill House seemed awake, with a watchfulness from the blank windows and a touch of glee in the eyebrow of a cornice. I don't know, horrifying, just horrifying to me. So that is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, and that is the last book on this list. Me talking about the scary book and someone knocking on my door. That's the list of classic books that I mean, those are my faves. Those were most of my faves. Some of my faves, not all of my faves. But anyway, I hope you got some recommendations, or if you are reading any classics, or if you just have like a list of favorite classics, I would love to know. If you just want to literally paste like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the comments, please. So until my next video, that's where I will leave you. Thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video, and I hope you are reading something you are enjoying beyond measure. So, ciao.